Hey everyone, this is Towelliee with TGN, and welcome to Halfus Wyrmbreaker 25-man Heroic Mode. Now before we go into the actual footage of the encounter, I want to go over some of the changes in patch 4.0.6 to this encounter that other videos out there on YouTube might not have yet. Now, we all know that before 4.0.6, every time you unlocked a Drake, Halfus Wyrmbreaker receives a debuff called Dragon's Vengeance that allows him to take 50% more damage. Here is the change. Now, it's not actually when you unlock the Drakes, it's when you kill the Drakes. Once you actually kill the Drakes, then he receives the debuff. But it's not 50% more damage, it's 100% more damage taken from the raid to Halfus Wyrmbreaker. So that's one of the changes. Once again, it's not when you unlock the Drakes or the Whelps that he gets a debuff. It's once you kill them. Okay, that's one of the changes. Now, the Drakes now also deal less damage and have less HP. Okay, now on Heroic Mode, for instance, last week, the Drakes had 21 million HP. This week, the Drakes only have 16.6 million HP. So that's a good, 4.5 or so million drop on the Drakes. So they deal less damage and they have less HP. Now, what does this all mean? This all means that now we can probably use less tanks, less healers. Beating the enrage timer should be a lot easier. If you actually get to down all of the Drakes plus the Whelps, Halfus Wyrmbreaker will be taking 500% more damage from the raid. And that's incredible, okay? So that's the changes that we have in 4.0.6. Now, I'm going to give you a quick layout of how we did this encounter, and you're going to see this in the actual video. Now, on the left side over here, we have the Nether Scion and the Slate Dragon. We actually left the Slate Dragon down the entire time. We didn't actually activate him. We wanted to get 3 Drakes and the Whelps down. So instead of having everyone clustered here in the middle, as other people did in the previous videos you've probably seen, we took Halfus, we took the Nether Scion, and we took the Storm Rider, who is actually positioned over here when you unlock him. He was misdirected to me. Storm Rider was right here. So we took the Storm Rider and the Nether Scion, who is right across from him, and we took Halfus, and we tanked them here off to the side. Now what this did is this, created a lot less cluster for when the AoE fire barrages came on the ground. That way we were able to dodge them more. We were able to see. Before, you had all the Drakes up, the wings are flapping all over the fucking place, and you couldn't see sometimes where the actual AoE ground effect was. So this made it clear. Now on this side of the room, we had the raid spread out. We had the other tank. On this left side, it was me tanking Halfus and the Storm Rider, while the Druid tank was tanking the Nether Scion. And every time I had 5 stacks of the Mortal Strike debuff, we would taunt Halfus Wyrmbreaker off each other. Over here, we had the Time Warden, and we had the Whelps being tanked by the Warrior tank. Now, once the Whelps were down, and once the Time Warden was down, the Warrior tank came over, and he would taunt the Storm Rider over here. So he taunted the Storm Rider over here, killed him. Now, once the Storm Rider was dead, we all flocked over here to where Halfus was being tanked with just another Scion left, and we popped Lust. We got rid of the Nether Scion, and once we got rid of the Nether Scion, we went balls out on Halfus Wyrmbreaker. Now, during the Furious Roars, all we needed was cooldowns to execute the fight, and pretty much everyone was almost, I think pretty much we all lived during the fight. You'll see right now after I start the footage for you. But that's basically how we did it. Now that the actual debuff doesn't go up on Halfus Wyrmbreaker until after the Drakes are dead, we really didn't have a reason to just cluster them up together and cleave them down. It just didn't matter. We wanted to just take them out one by one. We knew we would beat the enrage timer now that we had a few more DPS. We had 1 more DPS, 2 more DPS during the encounter, because last week we were 4 tanking, 8 healing. This week we 3 tanked, 7 healed, and it worked out pretty well for us. We beat the enrage timer by about 20 seconds. So thanks for hearing out the changes here to 4.0.6 for the Halfus Wyrmbreaker 25-man Heroic Mode encounter, and here's the footage of the actual fight from last night. Alright, let's get the encounter started here. We're going to have the Hunter misdirect Halfus Wyrmbreaker to me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to taunt the Storm Rider over. I'm going to get as much threat as possible. Here at the beginning, I get a Guardian Spirit. Don't know why. We pop all our cooldowns as tanks, so we have them up for the Furious Roar. Also, by popping our cooldowns in the beginning, we give the healers, DPS, everyone gets time to settle in, so the tanks aren't taking a crazy amount of damage. There we have a barrier put up for us. Awesome. And what you see me did there was a reason why a Paladin tank is amazing for tanking Halfus. Not only do we get to settle in, I got to take the first 5 Mortal Strike debuffs, and you can actually bubble you can actually bubble the debuff off of you for Mortal Strike and then start resetting again. So what we did was every 5 stacks, we taunted, myself and a Druid tank. So he would taunt Halfus, I would keep going on the Storm Rider. Once he got 5 stacks and my stacks were off, I would taunt Halfus back. Now on the right side of the room, we have the Time Warden and the Whelps being tanked by the Warrior tank. Now, once they go down, Halfus is going to have about 200 damage, 200% more damage taken to him. Which means that the raid is just basically going to be pushing out a lot of DPS. I believe after the Time Warden and the Whelps go down, the Warrior tank will taunt the Storm Rider off of me, giving me and the Druid tank only the Nether Scion and Halfus Wyrmbreaker to worry about. See, now as you can see, by separating them like this, basically it gives us a lot more room to move out of the fire barrage on the ground, which in some attempts that we were having last week, we were taking a lot of damage, because once you have all the dragons on top of each other in the middle with Halfus, with all the AoE going on, it's just really hard to see the ground. Even if you position your camera in different ways, it's still hard to see. So here we go. The Whelps are down. He's taking 200% more damage. Now we're on to Storm Rider. Storm Rider's next. We actually didn't decide until the end that we were going to actually take down another Scion as well to push it to 400% more damage taken on Halfus Wyrmbreaker by the raid. So as you can see here, we're going balls out, going balls to the wall, hammer down, let's get her done. And there goes the Storm Rider. As you can see, myself and the Druid tank, we're dodging the fire barrages, and we're also taking turns at taunting Halfus. And every time he taunted Halfus, I would taunt another Scion off of him, and basically Word of Glory myself. During the fight, I basically used Word of Glory as much as I could. I would save my 3 Holy Power points for Word of Glory in case of an emergency. I mean, we basically have, as you can see, the Vengeance bar underneath. We have 100% Vengeance almost at all times during this fight, so it doesn't really matter. Threat is not an issue. We can basically auto-attack these mobs, and it wouldn't matter. We would still have top threat. As you can see, I am streaming this because I wanted to stream and record at the same time. There's people talking at the lower right. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So down goes the Storm Rider. We're up to 300% more damage done to Halfus Wyrmbreaker. The Slate Dragon we did not pop at all during this fight. So we're at this point, the GM says, let's get the Nether Scion, let's take him out so we can get 400% more damage done to Halfus Wyrmbreaker. Okay, no problem. I mean, we're really in no risk of dying here. We use 3 tanks and 7 healers, which gives us 2 more DPS, because last week we were using 4 tanks and 8 healers. So the Nether Scion is going to go down pretty fast. We're not going to actually pop Lust until that Nether Scion's down. And then Halfus Wyrmbreaker just goes down so quickly. I mean, 400% more damage taken from the raid is just incredible. I mean, we probably even had time to pop the Slate Dragon, kill him, and then have him take 500% more damage. I don't know if we're going to fuck around with that in the future. But that's basically the encounter. In the beginning, just make sure that all your tanks blow all their shield wall cooldowns, everything. Just blow everything in the beginning, because they're going to be up again for the Furious Roars at 50%, which is when Halfus Wyrmbreaker starts doing Furious Roar. Now, during one of the Furious Roars, I actually bubble myself, so I don't have to take basically any more damage from it. And the only person he's going to start swinging at is the other Druid tank. So there we go. I have 10 stacks on me right now. Oh my god, I'm screaming in vent like, someone taunt him, please, I'm gonna die. So I have 10 stacks. Luckily, I'm not taking that much damage. I'm resisting a lot of that fire AoE. And there he goes down. He's going about like 1% per second, maybe more. We have about 1:45 left in Enrage. Where basically it's going to be myself and the Warrior tank and the Druid tank just basically taking turns at taunting him. And right here during the fire barrage, we basically have the whole room to work with to move him around. By the end of the fight, we were back by the stairs. So that's the first Furious Roar right there. As you can see, the raid gets pretty low. We almost lost our Paladin healer. No, we survive. Awesome. So at this point, I have the boss for some reason. I don't know why I had him. I might have just pulled threat back from the Warrior. I'm not sure, but he taunts him back. And now I believe I pop a Divine Guardian for the second roar. Let's see. I'm not sure. I do remember popping Divine Guardian. I just don't remember for which roar. So I'm waiting for him to cast it. There he goes. I pop Divine Guardian. Right here for the next 6 seconds, the raid receives 20% less damage taken. So that's basically like giving a shield wall to the entire raid, which works perfectly for this fight. If some progression guilds might want to use multiple Paladin tanks for that, by all means, exploit it. So here we go. We're going to take him down right here. On this last one, I have him taunted right now, and it's on me. Once he does the last Furious Roar, I'm going to, I believe I bubble just so I get out of it. I mean, the person he's going to hit anyway is going to be one of the other tanks. So I bubble. He actually doesn't target anyone right now until then, but we basically take them down anyway. So we use all cooldowns you can, AoE cooldowns, barriers by your priest, divine guardians from your prop paladins if you have them. We got the other achievement for killing 2 drakes within 10 seconds of each other, and the whelps counter for that one. So this has been Halfus Wyrmbreaker 25-man heroic mode from 7 on Death Rock Horde. We're recruiting, by the way. I'll put the link up in the description. We need healers. Please, for the love of fucking God. We need healers. We need DPS. We need everything, you know. We like to have a variety. We like to pick and choose, you know. And, oh, man, no bracers drop for me. No token. Sigh. Anyway, twitter.com/TowelTheTank, facebook.com/TowelTheTank, tgn.tv, thumbs up, and I'm getting a call. Peace out.